Hello and welcome to Cosmic Consciousness. Today we're going to be doing a reading, checking in on these energies. This is a timeless reading. However, I am recording it as we're moving toward the equinox and toward eclipse season, already very much in the energies of eclipse season, which really opened up with that new moon in Pisces. So just know if you're finding this after that time frame, there is likely still a message in here for you. So take what resonates and leave the rest. First card out here is the Four of Cups. And it's interesting, this card is different from the typical Four of Cups. And the deck that I'm using for those who are curious is the Intuitive Night Goddess Tarot. So you can see in this particular Four of Cups card, he's holding on to that cup really tightly, and it almost has the energy of a Four of Pentacles feel to it. So the gist that I'm getting from this is hanging on to one thing so tightly that we're not recognizing all the other things that want to come in for us, all the other opportunities. And as a result of that, we're blocking our blessings from being able to flow. So this is like that one thing that we're resisting letting go of that's going to be the key that opens the floodgates so that all the rest of our abundance can come in. And as we know, moving toward eclipse season, and I guess, like I said, being in technically eclipse season already, this is a time where things are being eclipsed out and things are being eclipsed in. And so there's something specific that each and every single one of us is holding on to, who's finding this reading, that needs to be released and let go so that those floodgates of abundance can open and that momentum can begin coming in. This could be something like a belief system. It could be a fear or a resentment. It could also be a physical thing like a relationship or a job or just a simple mode of being or a way of seeing and understanding ourselves, some aspect of the ego. We have the Nine of Pentacles here. And I'm going to pull another card to go with this. And the Ten of Cups. All right, so this is that beautiful energy that wants to come in. And I feel like for some people with this Nine of Pentacles here, it's this energy of going at it alone. And so what Spirit is saying is that you don't have to go at it alone anymore. There are people who want to help you. There are people who want to connect with you, as well as opportunities, like we said, right? Blessings that want to connect with you. And it's like some people have this idea that they have to do it all themselves. And for some of this, it's like some people, it's because you don't want to feel like you owe somebody anything. I know this came up in the reading the other day. I think it was the Virgo reading, this energy of people holding it over your head when they do things for you and not wanting to experience that energy. Right? So for some people, it's that. For some people, it's just like it feels safer and more secure to do it alone. For some people, it's almost like you've trained yourself to think that you have to go it alone. Or you're afraid to ask for help. You don't know how to ask for help. You maybe don't even know how to identify when it is that you need help and assistance. And so like it's the same with people in our lives a lot of times as it is with, say, our benevolent guides and angels. They can't offer assistance until we ask for it. So open up to that. Open up to the connection that wants to flow into your life. Open up to the people that want to be of assistance to you. If they are, of course, in high vibration or you feel that their intent is true. All right. Open up to perhaps collaboration. Perhaps something that you're doing could go further or could use the assistance of somebody else or the fresh energy of somebody else. Because this Ten of Cups definitely speaks to connection, right? Tell me some more about this. Let's get a clarifier, some more clarifying energy for the Nine of Pentacles here. Warrior of Swords. Yes, so I definitely get this energy to some extent of like being on the defensive. Tell me more about the Warrior of Swords though. This is the Knight of Swords. So this is typically swift, decisive action. For some people, procrastination is an energy that you've been dealing with. And Spirit's saying like the time for procrastination is past. And what is procrastination really? It's not laziness, it's fear. So it's like examining those fears. What are you afraid of? What is preventing you from being able to take action? For some people, it's not even this, like for some people, it is going to be what I said about needing to open up to people and to accept the help and the connection that wants to come through for you. But for others of you, there is really this time period that you're going through right now that has to do with learning how to stand on your own 2 feet and knowing how powerful you are, knowing how capable you are of accomplishing anything that you desire. And what Spirit's saying is that what's been standing in the way of that for you is this energy of procrastination, which is rooted in a fear. So one of the ways that we can begin to understand that fear that underlies our behaviors is to ask ourselves, what's the worst thing that could happen if I did this thing? And then you keep following that trajectory down until you get to a core. Okay, then what's the worst thing that could happen? Then what's the worst thing that could happen? All right. And like generally when we're talking about like training our minds, we don't want to always be going to worst case scenarios, right? We want to train ourselves to think what is the best thing that could happen. But in this particular exercise, when we're trying to identify our fears, that is what we want to ask ourselves, because that will take us down to the core fear that we can then begin to challenge and begin to heal, right? So try working with that energy. Try seeing what is that ultimate fear. When I am getting ready to do something that scares me, what I typically ask myself is, okay, if I do this thing and it doesn't work out the way that I hope that it will, if I fail, and we know that the only true failure is when we give up, right? But for the sake of this conversation within my head, if I fail, if it doesn't work out, am I going to die? And if the answer is no, then I do that thing, right? I walk through my fear. I do it while I'm afraid. And that's what this equinox, opening up to Aries season, opening up to the astrological new year, and all of this energy through eclipse season is really doing is it's getting us into that place where we can move through our wounds, move through our fears through action. All right. We have chance, which is the wheel of fortune. And so what Spirit's saying is if you can push through this fear and begin taking action, like there are destined and fated circumstances. There are destined and fated opportunities and blessings that want to come in for you. There's a whole new cycle that wants to begin. Kind of a whole new cycle. All right. You've been within parts of this cycle. But it's like the part of this, you've been in the part of the cycle that is working through the fears, working through the anxieties, right? Working through the belief systems, all of that. That was the part of the cycle that you were in. But when you're finally able to push through this procrastination, push through this fear and begin taking action, that's when the next phase of the cycle begins. That's when the good stuff. I mean, it's all good stuff, right? Because it gets us, it grows us. But that's when the more fun parts start to unfold. All right. Because when we begin taking action on something, it's the thinking about it and the analyzing of it that builds it up and creates creates basically a mountain out of a molehill. If we just kind of bypass that energy by taking action before we can get too in our heads about it, that's what we call inspired action, right? The inspiration comes in, we recognize it because it is setting us up for expansion, right? It may feel uncomfortable. It requires us to step outside of our comfort zone, but it is exciting and we know it's going to cause us to grow and expand. Then we skip over the step where we analyze every single aspect of it and we let our ego talk us out of it, right? And we just begin taking action on that thing. And then the momentum and the energy builds. And here we have the 5 of Wands, but this once again is difficult. It is difficult, right? But it's worth it. It is different from the traditional 5 of Wands card, which shows a whole bunch of people in competition with each other. Or one person in competition with themselves, depending on how you interpret the energy, right? In this card, there's nobody else. And so what Spirit is reminding us is we are our only obstacle. All right, and we can be triumphant. This is us overcoming all of those fears and rising to the occasion. This is also us putting down that energy of comparing ourselves to others and simply shining in the beauty of who we are without apology. All right. 8 of Wands. This is that momentum that we were talking about here. This is that momentum that's created. Remember, there's no point in comparing ourselves to others because there is no other you, right? You are a unique expression, fractal of source energy, of divine source energy. Even if you do something that a million people have already done, you're going to do it differently because you're bringing your own unique energy to it. The only time that that's not true is if you spend your time trying to copy others and trying to be somebody that you're not. That's the only time that isn't true. All right. So it's like embracing your unique energy, not comparing yourself to other people, but just doing what you do. And when you just do what you do because you love it, because it excites you, that's the key. That's the gold right there. And that's when the success comes. Yeah. 8 of Pentacles, hard at work, progressing towards your goals, refining your gifts, your skills, your talents, your abilities. This could be taking courses or classes. This could be working with a guide or a mentor. I am opening up coaching services very soon, so stay tuned for that. I offer a whole bunch of one-on-one services as well if you guys want to check those out to assist in this process. It doesn't have to be me, though. It can be anybody. All right, if you feel guided to work with somebody who can assist you on that path. All right, but it's anything. It's just putting in the reps, putting in the effort, putting in the practice, right? Practice is what makes, is there anything such thing as perfect? We don't know. But practice is what makes you great at what you do. It's what takes you from being okay or even awful, because sometimes we're awful at something when we start out, right? But that doesn't mean we're not meant to do it. It just means we need more practice. It's what takes you from awful or okay to good and then to great. All right. The master has failed more times than the beginner has even tried. Let that sink in. So this is Spirit saying, get to work. Yes, we have the full potential. Practice is how you realize your potential. Potential is nothing if we don't act upon it, right? It's just some abstract quality that's out there, some abstract possibility. It's when we take the action towards realizing our potential that it becomes something tangible. All right, this is also that energy of taking a risk, of putting ourselves out there, of taking that dive into the unknown. That's where all your growth and all your abundance and all your blessings are waiting for you, okay? Don't waste your time just holding on to this one little cup. This is settling. This is the energy of somebody who's settling for something that is just okay. Something that settling to remain in the comfort zone for a life that is ho-hum, when there is so much more greatness available to them. All right, it's Spirit saying it's time to step into your greatness. I don't think we really need any more cards. We'll get a couple more and see what they are here. The Nymph of Pentacles and the Knight. The Knight is the unknown. That's the infinite void of possibility, right? And this card to me always represents blessings and opportunities. We have Jupiter here, and we have what really reminds me of the Ace of Pentacles, right? In the unknown, in the void, is where all the potential and all the blessings exist. So it's time to jump into the void, you guys. It's time to jump into the unknown. It's time to break through those fears and that procrastination. And this eclipse season is really going to help with that, because this lunar eclipse is all about getting a deeper understanding of our truth, seeing more clearly who we really are in this moment, seeing more clearly who we are not, and being able to and ready to let that go, to let go of who we are not so we can step more firmly into who we are, to let go of what is not meant for us so we can step more firmly and more powerfully towards what is. And that is where the April 8th eclipse comes in. That's where we're really stepping forward into that. Remember, 2024 is all about aligning with our highest timeline. This is a quantum leap forward. This is a leap year, all right? So it's time to take that leap. I love you all so much. I honor you. I respect you. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit that like button. Drop a comment down below. Let me know how you're feeling this energies. Let me know what you're ready to take action on. Maybe let me know some of these fears that are coming up for you. I've been walking through a lot of my own fears personally. Starting this channel, I had to walk through my fears. When I decided to take things up a notch and really recommit to this channel, to my personal growth, to this process and expanding my own abundance, expanding my own light, shining my light even brighter than before, I went through another dark night of the soul, right? All those old fears that I thought I had dealt with came back up again, and I had to face them. I had to face them and move through them. All right, we all go through this. Even the people that seem the most put together on the outside are going through this journey on the inside. I guarantee you. The difference is that they're willing to do that. They're willing to do that. And when you walk through your fears enough times, you become more practiced. Like we said, practice makes perfect, or practice is what makes us great, right? So they do that enough times that it becomes almost second nature. Like, okay, I'm afraid, I'm going to move through it anyway. It's like the fear becomes smaller and smaller, and it's just like a tiny little echo in the background instead of being the focus, the focal point, right? So just imagine that. Visualize your fear. If it's right in front of you, visualize it kind of moving to the side of your mind and getting smaller and smaller. All right. And refocus. Keep your eyes on the prize, the vision. What is it that you desire? What is it that you're being inspired to do, and why? And if you can really get in touch with that why, that will give you more courage. That will give you more inspiration. That will light that fire within your spirit that allows you to keep going and to move through the resistance, right? Because that's really what procrastination is. It's fear and it's resistance. It's resistance to your light, resistance to your greatness. So do not resist your greatness anymore. Your greatness is calling. And all it wants to know is, are you ready to answer the call?